Someone needs to let me know if I am the only one that has noticed that men are not like how they were when our parents were growing up. Like I grew up, I don't know if it's because like the Italian values or what, like I grew up like the man is supposed to take care of the woman. The man is supposed to go up to the girls. Like the man is supposed to have drive and initiate everything. Like I feel like now it's so hard to find guys that like even just in general have drive in life. Like I feel like it's so different. And I don't know, like I personally never get approached. I never. Maybe something's wrong with me. I don't know. But like I feel like then like whenever I like talk about it, everyone's like, oh well they want the girl to like go up to them. Like what? When did this change? When did this change? Because I want a man. I don't want to be the man. Someone come up to me. Anyways, I just feel like there's no manly men. I just don't think so. I think every guy I've met is like honestly super emotional. And that's fine. Like I'm all about feelings, whatever. Like I'm an emotional person. So like that's okay. But I feel like it's definitely like sometimes worse than girls. Like I'm not even kidding. Like it's crazy. Anyways, so if anyone knows if manly men still exist, let me know. Or if I'm the only one that thinks they don't. I don't know.
Welcome to the CFC podcast. Welcome back, everybody. Thank you for being here. Welcome back to the home of modern dating, interpersonal relationships, current events, economics, and many other things. Thank you for being here. We appreciate it. Thank you for being here with us in 2024. By the way, we're starting off a fresh year here in 2024. And if you watched the previous video, thank you to everybody who has joined us. We're at 205 subscribers. That number is not insignificant to me or my sister. We appreciate it. And like and subscribe to the channel on your way in, please. It does help us out in the algorithm, as you know. Let's get into this. So what are we talking about today? So bear with me, guys, because I'm going to be sipping coffee today during this recording. Shout out to Helena's, by the way, in the fountains. So we're going to get back to having a little bit of fun. Guys, feedback is a gift. I listen to a lot of, various YouTubers, and I have, certain people that I listen to on a daily basis. And one thing that I've picked up here lately, like being essentially a podcast host or, a YouTube personality, you kind of have to have thick skin, and you have to be able to take criticism, constructive criticism, hopefully. And feedback, I love any feedback we get on the channel, like good or bad. It helps us to bring a better product to you. Recently, I was speaking with a friend of mine who said, hey, man, what happened to the modern dating videos? What happened to the fun videos of modern dating and interpersonal relationships and things like that? You haven't really covered that in a while. You've been doing a lot of politics and current events and a little bit more stuff that's a little bit more edgy. So what we're doing is I'm getting back to my modern dating for the classic man episodes. So the title of today's show is The Boss Babe Era is on Life Support. What took so long? I'm going to break that down for you. So we all know that during the lockdowns, during COVID, the pandemic and all those things, there was a dramatic shift that occurred in the dating landscape, right? All of a sudden, the world was shut down. So if you were, a service worker, if you were a female that was, a bartender, a hostess, a waitress, whatever the case, a dancer, some kind of an entertainer, your gravy train got shut off by COVID. So did our gravy train, meaning single guys who were looking to date. Because, guys, I've said it a lot of times. I run my mouth a lot, right? Obviously, here I am, a podcast host, because I like to talk. My dad was a radio personality. I chip off the old block, right? He had radio and TV shows, when we grew up in West Virginia. So I just think that I'm taken after him in that way. I like to talk, and I like to talk to women specifically. So, I talk to a lot of women almost every day. Where I live, there's a high concentration of attractive women. I speak to lots of women all the time, just in my everyday walk of life. And again, what I'm noticing, why did I say that the boss babe era? Excuse me. That coffee's good. What do I mean? So during COVID, during the lockdown, C-19, whatever you want to call it, it was very hard for guys to get dates because there was nowhere to go. Like we didn't have an outlet to go. You couldn't go to the bar. It was shut down. You know, you like to go to Twin Peaks, you know, or places like that where it's a lot of attractive women that you could potentially date. Well, that place is shut down now. So where do you go? Right. You know, the malls were shut down. You know, there's no women walking around the malls. You know, a nice place to meet women, believe it or not, is in jewelry stores. I've met a number of women in jewelry stores. That's a good place to go. You couldn't do that anymore. So what happened? Well, everything went online, right? So all of a sudden, the women who were average were now in a power position. Now they had, just by, you know, supply and demand, they had thousands of guys hitting them up on Instagram. I mean, listen, I was seeing a girl at the time, when the lockdowns happened, and I saw the change in her almost immediately. Like as soon as like the OnlyFans stuff started and the big money started rolling in and the ballers started coming in and just buying these girls out, a guy like me wasn't going to be able to compete at that point, right? Because these girls, you know, these guys are flying them out to Vegas and to Cali and to Texas and all these places. Hey, there's levels to this game. I get it. But I couldn't compete in that pool because I was like, when the girl started telling me that, you know, all of a sudden everything was transactional. All of a sudden everything cost money. Like we already know that. I mean, you're going to date a woman, it's going to cost money. That's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is that all of a sudden everything was transactional. Like a woman didn't want to spend any time with you unless you were talking about spending some serious money on her, whether that was giving her money, you know, cash apping her money. I started having girls just asking me for money outright. Like that wasn't happening before. Like, girl, I was like, if I was interested in the girl and I'm chatting with her on Instagram or whatever, like a lot of girls would just ask me to say, hey, can you spare $100? My lights got cut off or my bill is late or whatever the case may be. I need $200. Can you send me $100? I don't even know the girl like that yet. Like, you know what I mean? That's not my girlfriend, right? So I'm not sending you money, right? It became transactional. And all of a sudden, guys like me weren't able to get dates. And there was about a 2-year window where it was extremely difficult for us to get dates because there was really nowhere to source women from. Where were they at? Well, they're online. Where? Because the girls that I was running into online are not the girls that I would be interested in dating. That was the thing that I learned about the apps. Most of those women on those apps, because let's be honest. Why in the world would an attractive woman be on a dating app? It doesn't make any sense. It makes no sense. For what? Why would you need a really attractive woman? What in the world do you need to be on a dating app for? Because you can walk out your front door and get the attention that you're looking for. To me, if you're on a dating app, you just want more attention. I think. I could be wrong. But back to the point of the video. What do I mean by the boss babe era is dying? Well, life is hard. And most of the women that I've spoken to over the last 45 days are complaining about their life being very difficult all of a sudden. I'm hearing complaints about girls falling behind on their rent. I had a girl ask me to pay her rent. Like, hey, it's getting serious out here. Girls are asking me, do you think you could spare this? Do you think you could spare that? And I'm asking, hey, what's going on? I asked this one girl, I said, listen, you seem to be all of a sudden having these money issues. What's going on with you, right? She says, it's hard out here. They raised my rent by $500. My babysitter raised my rate. This went up, everything went up but our salaries, right? I get it. So this whole boss babe thing is dying a slow death. Because why? It's hard by yourself, ladies. And y'all are not designed to go at this game by yourself. The game of life, I'm saying, right? It's all right for you to be independent. Nobody's saying you can't go get a job. And nobody's saying you got to stay barefoot and pregnant in the house. Nobody's saying that. But what I'm seeing now is that women are coming back to the table like, hey, listen, can we go back to traditionalism? Can we go back to the way it used to be? For example, I was seeing another young lady last month. We went on a couple of dates and she told me, she was very, very pretty. I was very attracted to her. She told me, I really wish, because listen, everybody knows I'm a classic man, right? Everybody knows that. So if I take you out, I'm a classic man. I'm going to show you a nice time. I'm going to pull the chair. I'm going to, if you have a freaking scarf, I'll drop it across your shoulders too. Okay. I'll open the door. I'll pay the bill. I'll ask you what you like to drink. What kind of wine do you want, babe? I'll drink what you like. That's how I roll. I know that might seem a little bit strange to people. It's okay. It's not strange to me. It's not strange to me, nor the dudes that I know who date in the same fashion that I do. Classic men are different, as the only thing I can think. And guess what? That girl, she says, you know, you're a dying breed. Because we went to this nice Latin restaurant and it was really nice. And we had a bottle of wine and, nice ambiance and all these things. And she says, you're a dying breed. I said, what do you mean? She said, I don't understand how you're on the market. And I said, explain what you mean, babe. She said, well, they don't build them like you anymore. And I said, can you explain what you mean? She said, yes. She said, well, you did 3 things tonight. You pulled my chair, you poured my wine, and you asked me what I wanted. And you told me that I could order whatever I want. She said that guys don't do that anymore. She told me that they used to go out on ladies' night, right? And she said, I guess it was Thursday night. They would go to the same area and hang out. She said that back in the mid 2000s, she said it probably started happening around, it sounds to me like it happened when the Me Too stuff started happening is when guys started stepping away. Because she said that her and her friends, who she showed me pictures, these are very attractive women. Make no mistake about it. They're very, very attractive. They keep themselves in shape. They look good. These women are, I would consider to be like women that you could potentially date seriously. If you're a guy like me, they're a little bit older, in their 30s, a little bit more experienced, smarter, all those things. She said they would go out on Thursdays and guys would come up and ask them to dance. Guys would send drinks to the table. So she starts showing me, hey, this is my friend. And pretty girls, right? She says, well, how about now? Nobody talks to us. She said, when we go out there, she said on Thursday nights, nobody approaches us. Nobody talks to us. She said, we sat there for 3 hours and nobody in the whole place spoke to us. And I said, well, what do you think? Why do you think that was? Why do you think that happened? And she said, because of effing social media. She said, and all of these overly liberal feminists that have scared away men like you, that have gone out on social media and TikTok and ruined it for the rest of us. Because she said these women are miserable. She was like, so what they do is they put it in the young girls' heads and they say, hey, listen, if a guy's trying to do this for you, open the door, pull the chair, do that. That's toxic behavior because that means that he's putting you beneath him. And you don't need him to pull your chair. You don't need him to pour your wine. You don't need him to do this. You don't need him to do that. And they put this in these girls' minds early in life, especially when they go away to these liberal college campuses where these professors and stuff are super liberal. There's no guardrails for these girls. So they just sit there and fill them up with all this feminist rhetoric. I'm not saying this, guys. These are women telling me this now. See, when it was coming from me, it seemed like I was just up here preaching to folks because I had somebody tell me, oh, you doing a lot of preaching, about this and that. Hey, I just call it like I see them. You can call it preaching if you want. I don't really care. I'm just telling you what I see because I'm out here. I'm out in the field. In order for me to run this podcast, I have to be out here talking to people, interviewing people, getting content for them, getting information. I can't just come here and fly blind for you guys, or you're not going to watch my channel. So what I'm seeing is now over the last 45 days, I've been on about, 6 or 7 dates with 2 or 3 different women. And I've got enough information now to explain what I'm hearing from them. All of them said the same thing. They want to go back to how it used to be. That's why I said that the boss babe era is on life support and it's probably going to die off here very shortly because these girls are getting priced out of their apartments in places like Miami. All of a sudden, I'm seeing these bombshell girls walking around here. Where the heck did y'all come from? That's what I started to notice. I got bombshells walking around here. I'm like, okay, we have attractive women here, but not that attractive. Like, y'all are not from here. You girls know who I'm talking about. Y'all know exactly who I'm talking about. I've talked to some of y'all in my building. And I asked, where are you from? I said, there's this one girl in my building. She just moved in. I mean, she was absolutely outstanding. I said, where are you from? Brickell, Aventura, Doral. All of a sudden, all these very attractive women, most of them are Latinas, are ending up higher up in Broward County because what's happening is they're being pushed from Miami. The rent's too high. How do I know this? I do a lot of business in Wynwood. So I was down there and I was just curious. I said, let me take a look at these apartments that's on the block that, you know, I'm on a lot. And I go and I look at the rent and I said, come on, man, like $3,800 for 980 square feet. Is that what we're doing now? That's how ridiculous it is. 3,800 to 3,900 bucks for less than 1,000 square feet in Wynwood. So girls that used to live in Wynwood, one of the girls I dated lived in Wynwood. She told me she got priced out in her rent. So now she moved up to Sunrise. So what I'm seeing now, those girls are now all of a sudden back in the dating pool. They're available all of a sudden because now they're out here. They're out here in the regular spots now. I'm bumping into them in regular places now. And so, you know, me talking to them, they all say the same thing. They said, F this boss babe stuff. This S is too hard. This builds up, that builds up. Ladies, you know what? Be careful what you wish for, man. That's all I can say. Because there were a lot of dudes for 2 years. We had no voice. We couldn't say anything. For the better part of 2.5 years, the women had the floor. You had the microphone. We had nothing. We was just sitting here like, all right, we don't even get a date. I'm telling you, man, I can bring a friend on here right now, a high value man, very high value man, VP level. He couldn't even get a date. He was like, bro, what you told me about these dating apps is true. This is preposterous, what I'm seeing out here. We were seeing these beautiful girls running around with these riffraff looking dudes. And now all of a sudden I have these girls telling me I'm tired of dealing with those dudes. You know what they told me? They were spending I had the same girl I was on a date with. She said the guy out she was seeing or whatever, he was spending money on her. It was stimulus money though. See, he doesn't actually have that money. It wasn't his money. It was taxpayer money. So when he's renting boats and taking her out to take pictures and all this stuff, that's fine. I like to take girls on boats too. That's fun. But make sure you can pay for the boat. See, these dudes artificially inflated the market. That's what happened. These guys were renting three-wheelers and four-wheelers and riding around in the street and renting yachts and boats and all this stuff. Fake it till you make it. But y'all dudes don't really have the money to maintain that. And that's what I'm seeing now. The girls are like, yo, these dudes are actually broke. So all of a sudden now they want to come back to the table and say, hey, I actually might want, say it to be a girlfriend now. I might actually want to come back to the table now because this boss babe stuff is hard. That's what I'm seeing. Now, this is the evidence that I'm seeing personally. This is not what I've heard. This is what I've seen and experienced. That is why I'm recording this show today, because I wanted to express and tell you what I see. This ain't no he say. I'm talking about what I have experienced myself over the last 45 days or so that I've been out here. All of a sudden, the women are coming back to the table. What do I mean? Just this month, I've had 2 women ask me out. That was not happening 2 years ago. I promise you it was not. I've had 2 women just this month in January. I'm sitting there at the bar talking like I always do. And I've had women say, hey, I'm available for lunch. You know what I mean? I'm available for this coffee, whatever. That was not happening before. It's happening again. So ladies, I'm curious. Tell me in the comments, are we back to where we can at least have a conversation about maybe dating? Our guys are going to have a shot again. If so, hey, I think we could get some work done. I think guys can start meeting girls again and start having fun again because what I'm seeing is these girls are exhausted. They just want to have fun. Now, 2 of the girls that I went on dates with just are exhausted. They are tired because they're working 2 jobs. The boss babe way ain't the way. Thank you for being here. Like and subscribe to the channel. Tell me what you think in the comments.